going to work. All right. It looks like we are on YouTube. It is my first time recording or doing a live like pre ahead of on YouTube. So I have no idea. It doesn't look like it connected to the one that the one that I had scheduled. But I am live. So let's hope. I don't know. Well, hopefully it'll connect itself. I have no idea. No, it looks like it is. Okay, we are working. All right. So this is the May 2023 Budget Bestie Meetup. If you'd like to join us in the future for a meetup, you can go to budgetsmeeteasy.com/meetup to save your seat. It is limited to 10. So if you can't make it, please go ahead and cancel so that your spot can open up. So spots are open for June, but it is already half full. So make sure if you want to join us live for one of these that you go and save your seat. Okay, let me close some windows because I wanted to make sure that I was actually live on YouTube. Okay, so no, this did not. It did not connect on YouTube. So I don't know what I did because it said I was connected with Zoom and knew all my Zoom stuff. Hi, Cindy. So I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong, but I will have to figure it out before the next time. This will also be recorded for the Money Mindset podcast, but it's actually not going to go live for a while. I have a couple other episodes already planned. I don't remember when this will go out, but it may not even go out for a couple weeks. So today I'm going to talk about closing out your budget because this question has been asked a couple times here lately. So, I usually get my content and things that I answer questions from you guys. So this question came up more than once recently. So we're going to dive into it. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and then we will open it up to whoever wants to share some wins for the last month or so, whatever you want to share. I know several of us got our taxes done on time. Yay. And I don't remember if we talked about that during the last meetup, but I do know that we got it done on time. And then we can also, if you have any questions, of course, share that as well. And I would like to know, as we get to that point where we're sharing kind of what you guys are working on and when you close out your budget, if you close it out at all, because this is kind of a concept that unless you are sticking to the budget and following up, you're probably not doing it. So this is kind of a second or third step to things when we're figuring out our budgets and really managing our money. So this came up. And before you close out your budget, you really have to know where your money has been going, right? So first you need to get to make the plan, then stick with it, and then close it out and see how it went through the month. Now, if you had a bad month or if you didn't really track or any of that, that's fine. You can still jump to the closing out part, but really in my mind, that's not closing out per se. I think of it more as just kind of resetting and just starting fresh because you don't have to go back and track everything and see how everything went. And so if that part is keeping you stuck from moving on into the next month, just move on into the next month. Like, don't let that keep you stuck, right? So, but this is really kind of like the third step in the month of your budget. If you choose to do it, you don't always have to do it. I would recommend that you do it more frequently when you're still learning and building those habits and getting in those routines and figuring out where your money is going. And if you're not really to the point where you are doing really well with sticking with the budget, then I would recommend you do this every month. But keep in mind, remember, we don't expect 100% perfection. If you don't do it one month, it's fine. Move on. Don't let it keep you stuck. So what I'm talking about when it comes to closing out your budget. So at the end of your paycheck month, now remember, I teach budgeting by paycheck. So unless you get paid on the first, your budget doesn't start on the first. Like, unless you just magically get a bunch of money on the first doesn't matter that it's the first. It has literally nothing to do with it, right? You're going to close out your budget at the end of your paycheck budget cycle for the month. So for me, that looks like the Thursday before the first Friday, the first payday of the month. So, if you get paid bi-weekly, it'll be the day before or the day of the first paycheck for the month. So for May, I am recording this on May 9th. Maybe some of you got paid on the 5th, which was just a couple of days ago, was a Friday. So like around the 4th or the 5th, I would close out the quote unquote month of April's budget. And what that looks like for me, the way I have all of my bills scheduled by the 4th or the 5th, everything has already cleared. And so my bank balance is my actual balance. So I will check and compare that to what I have in my notebook with my tracking to see if it's the same. And you know what? A lot of times it's not, just because, you don't have to be great at math to manage your finances. And if it's off just a little bit, that's fine. If it's off quite a bit, I will then start going and searching and see what I missed, right? But if it's off like $20, a couple dollars, some change, what I will do is if it's short, if my balance, what I have in my notebook says that it is more than what the bank says, I will take the difference and I'll just subtract it and I'll put balanced and the date. And I put a star next to that. So I know that on that date, this is what I literally had. This is all the money that I had. Everything was taken out, right? And now if my okay, so that was, I said I had more. Now, if the bank says I have more, I'll add it, right? So same thing, I will add the difference to my notebook, because somewhere I made a mathematical error, which happens. And it happens quite often for me. Unless I'm balancing it constantly, which I month because it's just easier because I'm not waiting on anything else to come in. Now, if that's not the case for you at the end of the month, like everything hasn't quite cleared yet, what you will do is you will take that bank balance and then you're just going to subtract anything that still needs to come out or still needs to be paid out of the money that is in there. So from April, maybe a payment doesn't actually come out. Let's say you got paid on the 5th, but the payment that you have planned out of your second paycheck in April actually doesn't clear your account until the 9th. So you'll just take that out of your bank balance to see if it matches or is pretty close, to see if you're on track, if your bank balance and what you say you have are close or the same, right? So let me know if that doesn't make sense, if that is clear. So that's one part of closing out your budget. The other part that you can do, but you don't have to do if it feels overwhelming and you already feel behind and stuck, is going through and finishing out writing down your transactions so you can see where your money went during the month and then totaling up the categories that you are tracking. And so typically before you do that, you may decide on which categories you can go through. I like using highlighters, so different colored highlighters for different categories. And so, that gives you a good visual if you're writing down your transactions to go through and highlight, like food is one color, gas will be another, fun money will be another. So I like the 12 or 15 packs of highlighters where they're different shades, and you may even make yourself a little legend. Okay, this or a label on the highlighter. I've seen that too. So which color goes with which category. And I will make very different categories, different colors where maybe similar could be a similar shade. Because as you know, there's only so many colors. So even in a 15 pack, there's a couple main colors and then there's different shades of that color, right? So, highlighters are pretty cheap. You can get them on Amazon for $10. You can get, a big pack like that and do that if you wish. and then total up your categories. So you can kind of see if you want to take that step. Remember, you don't have to do that part. It may be something that you eventually do once you are getting more comfortable and you're building your confidence and you're not afraid of the numbers. You can add that in later. Just know that that's kind of what I think of when I say close out your budget for the month. So you're seeing where you are spending, you're highlighting your categories so you can visually see and scan and be like, ooh, that, the pink category, food or fast food. I was like, oh, that was a bit much for the month. That's just like a lot of pink on the sheet, right? So it's just a visual to easily see where your money has been going. And then you can total it up if you want to. If you're using the budget planner or the the spreadsheet will automatically give you the monthly overview. I've realized that some people haven't noticed that. So depending on the size of the screen that you're looking on, you may not have seen the monthly summary. So scroll to the right on the monthly tab and you'll see the monthly summary if you haven't seen that yet. If you're using like the printable budget planner, there is a page for that. It's expense tracking summary page. So you can kind of track that at a glance. So you could go back a couple months and see how you did and see if you've improved or, if you need to make any adjustments. That data is already there for you without you having to like go back and like redo it all, right? It's pretty easy for you to just go back and glance at it because, as we know, we feel like we're not making a lot of progress when you probably really have been. And so if you can actually see the numbers on paper and you can flip back and see, okay, in January on food, I spent $1,000, but then in May, I only spent 800, even though 800 to you may feel like, oh, I didn't do very well this month. Well, if you look back and compare it to where you started for the year, you improved, right? And so sometimes we just need that tracking so that we can actually add to our confidence and add to our feelings of being able to do this, because you can do this. And that is part of it is part of it is doing it, of course, but the other part is believing enough in yourself, because even just like, last year, Money Success Club, we had so many women that felt stuck and that they hadn't paid off any debt. And then when we talked about making the visuals and they went back and saw how much they actually had done, it was like, oh my God. I think Lisa, it was like she had paid off $19,000 and she thought she was stuck. Cindy, I know, is similar as well, had paid off way more than she had thought. And so when we have that record of how we did through the year, we can flip back and say, okay, I'm not doing as bad as I thought, because our brain, we just start to beat ourselves up and we think that we're not doing anything and we just are terrible with money. And that's not the case, right? Like, you've made progress. And so that's why I do like the idea of closing out your budget so that you can have that record. But no, it may be something that you add in later so that you can add it in as you're going, right? And I closed YouTube, so now I can't see the comments. So I'm not sure why I did that. If there are any comments, so let me pull YouTube back up because I was trying to save my internet. Okay, there we go. Let me make sure that's muted. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I will, that way if I see the chat, if you are watching or listening, please jump over and hit the like button. It helps out. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you're following. All right. So I'm trying to think, did I cover everything? Does anybody have any questions about closing out their budget for the month that maybe I forgot? You feel free to unmute if you do. I think that was everything that I wanted to talk about because it has come up a few times. All right. Now, does anybody have any comments about closing out your budget? Cindy or Trish, I see you guys here with me. Do either of you do this yet? Have you been closing out your budget?
I don't really close.
Oh, Cindy, you're muted. I can't hear you. Hold on.
I'm not.
No,
I'm not. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's me. I have a new microphone. Okay, I had
You
my
and
volume
technology.
turned way down, apparently. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you and your technology.
I know,
Okay.
it's terrible.
I don't really close it out. I just kind of keep it rolling per se. Um, but usually toward the end of the month, I try to make sure, look ahead to the following month, make sure everything is still scheduled right, the amounts are right, all that kind of stuff. I did notice with using Undebit, two things, just a reminder, if you need visuals, if you get that stuff put in there, my problem is remembering to record the payments that I've made so that it'll actually make the visual right. But when you use that, where was I going with this? The visual, and I lost it. What was I talking about? Where was I going?
Closing out your budget. And then you're talking about undebted.
When you do indebted, when you do apply a payment, it'll ask you which month that it's going to apply to.
Oh, okay,
So,
nice.
For instance, I made a payment like May 1st or something like that. I had the choice that I could have put it on April's numbers.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Like to close it out like you did. I didn't, just because that's not how my brain was thinking at the time. But I realized that after I'd gone down, 5 or 6 different payments, I thought, oh, maybe I should have done it that way. It would have made April look really good.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes we got to do that, right? To keep ourselves going.
Yeah.
It's okay to do that. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking with one of my one-on-one clients the other day and encouraging her to make a visual for her debt payoff, right? And I'm like, and you don't have to start with today. Like, go back a couple months and start like from the last, the number that you remember, the balance, right? And fill it in. Like, give yourself some credit for what you've already done. Feel free to, add that in there. So Angela says she's never closed out her budget. Yeah, it's like I said, it's not one of the basic steps when you're just getting started. So it's okay if you haven't done it. It's kind of, we kind of work in layers, right? And we kind of try and do one thing at a time, get a good grasp on the first step and then the second step. And this is really like the third step, kind of third layer to it. So it is perfectly okay if you haven't done that yet.
I guess the closest I get to closing out is when I do my bank statements. Because at that point, I make sure everything is in the right categories and that kind of thing. And like you were saying, when you do your balancing, I still do it the old fashioned way in a way, but I do it through Quicken. And rarely do I have anything that hasn't cleared, because 98% of what I do is electronic. I don't write too many checks.
Right.
Anything that is hanging out there, like if I haven't done it in a few months, like right now I'm behind, there could be something from December that for some reason didn't clear. I have no idea what it was. And I'll usually just kind of let it hang out there for a few months and see if maybe it will clear. And then if not, it was a double entry is what I figure. And then I'll just delete it off.
So that is closing out your budget.
So it is kind of closing out.
You are.
Budget, I guess.
Yeah. No, that is closing out your budget. It doesn't have to necessarily involve checks. And what you're doing is like going through categorizing, seeing where your money's been spent for the month. So yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. And I love that you've shared your process, because everybody does things, a little differently, and other people can get an idea from what you use. So, Christina says, I usually check after each paycheck to see if I'm on track or off track. Yes, absolutely. But I don't think I've actually closed it. Yeah. And if you're tracking, Excuse me. So like if you're tracking like that too, you don't necessarily have to do it. I rarely do it, to be honest with you, because I'm like Christine, like I just do it every paycheck. And at the end of the month, could just be, and I mainly do it at the end of the month because I know when everything is cleared, just because it's been the same for years now. And so I will just double check, right? And that's kind of when I balance it. But before, when that wasn't the case, I would balance it like every paycheck. So then I didn't necessarily like have to do an end of the month recap. Like I didn't rewrite all my categories, but I know people like to do that. So, I've included it in the planner, and then the spreadsheet does it automatically, of course. But you do need to balance it every now and then if you're doing it like I do, where I use a notebook and I'm actually writing things down because, you don't have to be great at math to pay off debt, right? And even though I use a calculator, it's just always off a little bit, almost always, unless I'm balancing it like I used to, like every payday. But even then, sometimes it would. And then sometimes there's like a huge difference, right? And it's usually a check, because we don't write those hardly ever anymore. And I forget about them. Or there's been times I haven't even figured out what it was. And it was like a couple $100. And I'm like, and then eventually I just give up and I'm like, screw it. It's not worth the time. Like, this is my balance. I know that's what my balance is, and I move on. And so it's perfectly okay to do that too. But don't be chasing down. I know somebody had sent me a message or a comment or something the other day about trying to find like, it was a small amount, like pennies or, some change. And they couldn't figure out. It's like, just you don't have to figure out every little detail, just move on, right?
But if it is a multiple of 9, remember it's a transposition. You put 19 instead of 91.
No, I never remember that. I failed algebra. Okay, math is really not my thing.
My mom was a bank teller.
So was I.
and then I grew up on the farm, so my mom did the books for the farm. And so she would teach me we had, of course, everything was paper ledgers. We're talking 40, 50 years ago. And she taught me how to use the calculator. And she had those big multi-column ledgers. And it had across the top, it had all the different expenses. And then down the side, whatever it was, each check was on or whatever, what it was for. And my job when I got old enough was to add up the columns and then balance it all and then move it forward for the next page or next month. And that was one of the things I learned early on when it didn't balance correctly, that it was a multiple of 9, it was a transposition.
I'll have to try and remember that. I probably will still forget.
Yeah. If it only works if it's a multiple of 9, because you've done like 91 instead of 19.
Yeah.
So that difference
and that happens.
is a multiple of 9.
I'm going to have to try and remember that. What's funny about that is I wonder if they still make the ledgers that big. I bet you they probably do. Like, I'd have to really search, because I was actually looking for some kind of actual physical ledger for our second business that we started recently, because it's not as easy as my online business where like everything's pretty much the same. Good night, Christina. I hope you have a good night at work. And
like this, I don't know if you can see it.
No, it's all blurry. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's because your background is blurred. Yeah. So it won't, it's not showing it. Walmart actually had some, but they weren't quite the right thing for what I wanted. But I was actually surprised that they had some. Yeah, I've never seen one quite like that.
Like that?
Yeah, I need something like that.
This is a 12 column, and I bought it at Staples.
Okay, I'll have to check Staples. Okay.
Because I thought I was going to use this for something with my budgeting kind of thing and whatnot. And I don't think I'm going to.
Oh, okay.
I got it home and I'm starting to think about it, and I'm like, maybe that's too much.
Yeah, it's a bit big, especially if you're gonna like tote it around, right? Like,
oh, I wasn't gonna tote it.
Okay, good.
It was staying on my desk.
Okay, I'm like, because that is kind of big. But yeah, I need to find something. I was looking for something kind of like that, and I know I looked on Amazon. I just wasn't quite finding what I
Yeah.
wanted. So yeah, okay, I'll have to check Staples. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? And then we can go into wins. If not, Trish, did you have anything? You good? Okay. All right. Cindy, do you have a win that you want to share for the week?
Yeah, so we got our taxes done and
Woohoo!
I got my refund right after we talked last, and I
Ooh,
said you could see it was in process. I
yeah,
got it a day later. I'm like, but
that's
it still says
awesome.
it's being processed.
Oh, it does? Oh, I didn't check, because you reminded me of that. So I went and checked and it was like,
Yeah.
it'll be mailed on like the next Monday of whenever we talked, but I actually got a freaking physical check, but it showed up on Monday.
Okay, mine went
I'm like,
directly
why
into my
did I
account
get a
the next
check?
day after we were talking.
That's funny.
But I took approximately about 2,000 out of it, paid off one credit card, and then
Woohoo.
put the balance onto another one. So that took care of one of three, I think it was, that has interest bearing on it.
Awesome.
Anything
Good
else I
job.
have is zero balance or zero interest. And then, we've been going back and forth for our vacation on what to do and what not. And it came to the realization there's no way we can go all together because of my mother-in-law's situation. So I told my husband last week, and I said, I am buying you a plane ticket to Pella, Iowa, which is where our really good friends live. Just you are going to go there. You're going to ask for this day off so that you have Wednesday through Sunday. And you're going to go to Paul and Carol. They are going to take care of you. You're staying at their house and you're going to get away from here. And I said, and there's no arguing. Well, he was amazed that I was doing this.
That's
He's
awesome.
like, but I want to do, I go on vacation. I want to be with you and John and this, whatever. And I'm like, I don't care. You're going. But we had to change dates. So now he's going Memorial Day weekend. So he's
Awesome.
leaving the Wednesday before and coming home on Sunday. And he didn't want to go because that's my birthday weekend.
Aw.
Again, I said, I don't care. You need to get out of here.
He needs
Brody and I will take care of mom.
a break
You
for sure.
need to get out of here. And I was going to have him come home on Monday. And he's like, well, no, but Monday is when we go to the cemeteries. We put out the flowers, we clean up the graves. I said, all right, I'll give you that. So I have him coming home Sunday night. But I bought the ticket last night. He doesn't have to worry about anything else but, food or incidental stuff, so it's not going to be that expensive. And then John and I will just do some day trips and do something or go for a couple of nights, whatever, just to kind of get John away from here for a little bit. But unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to see you with all that being said.
Yeah.
I might get down to Georgia, but I don't think I'll get over to North Carolina. So
Darn.
I didn't do the reunion for Sensi or anything. I just did it as a virtual, a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So I'll try to hop on. And if I don't hop on, it was $52.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
Not a big deal. So those are my wins that I'm feeling pretty good about. So tomorrow though is my day to do my statements. Someone hold me accountable.
Well, we will. That's what we're here for. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Angela or Sharon, Angela to Cindy said, this is awesome, or that is awesome for getting your husband away for a little bit. Cause I'm sure he needs a break too. So you guys have been dealing with a lot this last year.
The thing is, he's not the type to just sit down unless he'll sit down to read a book, but it's really hard to force him to even do that.
Yeah.
And Paul and Carol are going to have orders from me to don't let him think about home. If he needs to vent, say, okay, this is your time to vent, and then it's done. And
awesome.
Just do stuff with them. So they'll do it.
Good. So he doesn't
There's
need to be on
nothing to do much
vacation
in Pella
worrying.
anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He'll enjoy it though, I'm sure. If anybody else has anything to share, feel free to unmute yourself. And if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself as well. Trish.
I thought I'd share my win for my
Yay.
tax return. So I got mine really fast too. I was like, oh, it'll probably be another week or two. It's like, oh, it's here.
Mhm.
But I got my car fixed. I got my fence repaired and new fence. I got one credit card paid off. And my property tax is paid.
Woo! Yeah, that's a
And on top of that,
got a
we
lot
paid
done with that.
for my daughter's braces in full.
Whoa, that's huge. That
Wasn't the tax refund. That was the rest of the sinking funds.
But that's awesome. Congratulations. How excited or how good does that make you feel to have that?
I know,
all
it's like
done?
so much off. Yes.
That is
And I just have a
awesome.
couple more things to fix on the house, but I've gotten it finished. The fence was huge because the dog can go out back again now instead of having to take her for a walk 3 times a day.
Yes, that's huge. When you have dogs, it's like that's a lot of work when you don't have a fence. So yes, that's a big one right there. That's awesome. Well, congratulations on getting all of that done. You've made so much progress. I'm incredibly proud of you. That is exciting.
I still need to add up, where I'm at it with credit cards, how much I've actually paid off. I still haven't done that.
Yeah, it's probably more than you think it is. I bet you it is. Cindy says also still have some tax money left to pay for vacay for me and John, and pay for part of his summer camp. Yay. Cause I know you're wondering how to get that paid and everything, and to hire some yard work done. Oh, good. That'll be good for your husband too, without credit cards. Yay. That's huge too. Oh my gosh. You guys are doing so freaking awesome. You guys are doing really good. Sharon or Angela, you want to share anything? You don't have to turn on your camera if you don't want to, but you can just unmute and share if you have a win you want to share.
I don't really, maybe you guys might see it as a win. I don't know if it's really, I call it a win. I was able to put everything on the calendar for May. So I'm like caught up.
Yes, no, that's huge. That's awesome. Congratulations. No, that is a big deal because that's a big first step, right? Getting it on the calendar, that makes it feel real. Angela, I bet you do have some wins, even if you don't feel like you do. I think you do have some wins because you went on vacation and came home with money left over, and you are rocking and rolling with what your savings and all of your stuff. So I'm sure you do have some, but that's okay if you don't want to share. All right. Cindy says infusion of cash from tax refund always helps with this stuff. Yes. And I know there's always like a debate of, get more each month or get more at the end of the year. And it's really personal. Like, yourself. And I know that a lot of people, if they got it every month, would just randomly spend it, right? And getting that big check at the end of the year is super helpful in knocking out some of these other goals versus just getting an extra $200 or $300 a month, because then it would just go to other things, right? So Cindy's nodding her head yes, because I know you've mentioned that before too. Like it is like, I know some people are like, you're giving the government a free loan, but you know what? If it's better for you and your family, then do what you got to do. But if you need more money per month, then think about changing your adjustments if you need it. So
it helped us over the years because one summer we put in new sod that we had to do because we took out a pool that was in the backyard. One year we put in a ground sprinkler system. One year we put the roof on the house. So it always helped with those big things without having to use so much cash.
yes,
So much credit,
exactly.
So we were able to do the littler things or, some of those major things without putting a whole bunch on credit.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. And I think that really when you are still like trying to figure out the system that works for you, and you can live without that money and it's better to have it at the end of the year. But, there may come a time that you're like, okay, I'd rather have more each month and then I can put it in for retirement. Because if you're not going to actually put that money toward whatever goal that you're working on, then it
Right.
is kind of just a waste
Yeah.
of, and where you could just save, have the government quote unquote save it for you. And then you get
Yeah.
a big tax refund.
And
It's your
they're
money
getting-
either way.
Yeah, and they're getting an interest-free loan, but okay, fine. I'm helping our government. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And
but,
until recently, the interest rates weren't that high anyway. So it's not
Yeah.
like now it is. Now the interest rates are pretty good. So
If they're going to give you, after they take out taxes and give you an extra, what, $100 a paycheck? To me, I'd rather get it all at one time so I could actually do something with it.
exactly.
know.
So I definitely see both sides, but I think it really
Yeah.
does just depend on you and your
Yep.
personality and, this where you're at in life at the moment. So you
And
gotta do
like the
what's best
yard
for
work
you.
we're having done, it's basically a cleanup, and yeah, Dan could do it, but he's got so much on the plate. And
There are things worth paying for.
things. Yeah, I mean, he's outside mowing the lawn right now, even though I try to tell him to wait till after they come out next week. But there's not that many sticks to pick up, but they're gonna weed the flower beds. And we've got a lot of flower beds with our roses. And then they're taking out our old black diamond and replacing that. So some of those really big kind of back-breaking things, they're
Yeah.
gonna do, put in mulch, fresh mulch, all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be worth it, just so that Dan's sanity and mine stays intact.
Yeah, exactly.
And his
I
back.
mean, yeah, exactly. Especially right before he goes on vacation. So yeah, there
Yeah.
are things worth paying for. And
Yeah,
I'm
and-
getting to the point where it's like, we just don't have time to do all these things. I mean, yes, we could do it. And I hate paying for some of these things, but it's like, man, I really just probably should pay somebody to do it and just get it done because I'm never going to get it done. So actually, while we're on vacation, we're having somebody paint the kitchen family, like it's all open, family room, living room area. And I know that it's the same guy that painted my office, and he is like, you think we're perfectionists? Oh my God. He is a perfectionist when it comes to painting. And he is like, I just can't believe his the skill. I'm trying to think of another word, but it's not coming to me. But his skill level with it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll pay him. It's like $2,000 to paint all the trim, all the doors, the baseboard, the walls, the ceiling. I'm like, that's not that bad. And I know he'll do a good job, right? So to me, it's like, and I'll get it done while we're not even there. So we're like out of the way. And so it's worth it. I don't want to spend $2,000 on it, but I am tired of looking at my yellow walls. So all right. Anybody else have anything else they want to share before Cindy, I was going to ask you, how is Brody? All moved in, settled? Yay.
Yes. It's really a cute little house, and
Oh,
it's
good.
actually square foot wise bigger than my house. It's
Really?
1,400 square feet. I've briefly met the guy he's renting from, but then his dad is the one that's going to do all the landlord stuff because Daniel's on his way to Germany, or in Germany now. That's why he's renting out the house. And his dad came over and installed a dishwasher Saturday. And so I got a chance to meet him then, and seems really, really nice.
Awesome.
And there's still some stuff they're trying to, they had started renovating the basement and finishing it. And there's still some places that doesn't have the drywall up and that kind of thing. And I'm pretty sure that that's some stuff that Andrew's going to be working on, over time. So, but they've got all their stuff moved in. His other roommate is still in Arizona with the dog and should be back sometime this month.
Sweet.
So
Is the money still in escrow, or is that done?
No. He got word second or third, that his money's coming out of escrow because they never did anything.
Of course not.
Of course not. We knew that. They,
Wow.
he sold the place. And they're processing the refund. He'll just have to go down to Detroit though to get the check in person.
Ugh, that's annoying.
Because
but
they've had problems with trying to mail those types of checks out.
yeah.
So he has to go down and get it. I think they said 10 to 15 business days, something like
Oh.
that. So probably next week, maybe he might get an email that says, come and get it. And that's like
Awesome.
3,600, between 36 and 4,000. I think it was
Yay.
36. So I don't remember exactly what they were paying,
Yeah.
but he probably will not get his deposit back. I'm not counting on that at all. But at least he's got 3 months of rent for February, March, and April. And
Good.
then he can put that into, they had insurance and he got some money back from his renter's
Oh.
insurance. But there's still some stuff that he needs to get, and he needs to, catch up and
Oh, good.
put money aside for his taxes and things of stuff that he had to pull from to make the deposit for this house. So he's getting his money back, and that's the biggest thing.
Yes. And just to be done
Yeah.
with it, right? Like
Yep.
that
Oh, and
chapter's done.
for him
Moving
to
on.
have, for him to have his own bedroom again after 4 months. Yeah, he's got his office set up in the same room as his bedroom, which he doesn't particularly like, but he's
Yeah.
going to put up a curtain, to like section that off when he's not
Mhm.
using it and that kind of thing. But just to have his own place again after 4 months, it just, you could see the relief on his face when we were moving stuff in. I paid for the, that was the other thing the money helped pay for. Storage movers to move from storage to his house.
Oh, good.
Because I ended
Yeah.
up, I told him I'd help with them, but he hasn't offered to pay me anything yet. And if he doesn't, you know what? I really don't care, because he's in a much better place, better area, nicer house. So thank you for asking, but yes, he is.
Yay, I'm so
lot
glad.
better.
Oh my gosh. I know that how stressful that was for not only him, but you too.
Yeah.
And now it's
Yep.
done.
So
You
now
can enjoy your summer. Go on
Yep.
some
he's going to do a couple months of his bill paying, find out exactly what utilities are
vacations, not
going
worry
to
about
be
it.
and that kind of thing. And then I'll be in touch, because we need to make sure he's got a good budget set up.
Well, I'm happy to help. Yeah, just let me know. We'll sit down, get
Yeah.
it figured out. So awesome. All right, last chance. Anybody else want to share anything?
Do we have
All right.
anything set up for tomorrow or
No, I don't think so.
this week? Okay.
Let
don't
me
think
double
so.
check the calendar, but I don't think so, because I think I had a meeting and it got rescheduled. So we didn't have anything for Money Success Club, I'm pretty
I
sure. But
think
let
I
me
saw
check
something pop up,
Thursday.
and I don't think it's for this. I thought it was for this group, but I wasn't sure. And then I'm like, no, that's too early. So I think it was Wins or something. That's
Yes,
not
that
usually
was
this week.
Sunday. Somebody else had asked me that too. It's been in the calendar for like 2 or 3 years for Sunday night. So I don't know, like, if something
Yeah.
changed with the alerts, because you weren't the only one that asked me.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
like,
don't know. It popped up,
no?
and then that reminded me about Besties, and I'm like, but we wouldn't have something else tomorrow night. So
Oh, you know what? May, it does not look like May is in the calendar. So I'm going to have to go back and
okay.
I will look. So I will send an email with the dates and make sure it's all posted, because I gave
Yeah,
all
'cause I
that
couldn't
to
find anything
Christina a while
I
ago.
couldn't find anything in the emails for what's going on this month either. that you
Yeah,
need to
I
send
don't think I've
out.
sent it yet. But yeah, that's strange, because I thought Christina already put it in the calendar for this month.
I
But the dates,
received something too. I received something.
I mean, the
saying
dates
that-
for the whole. Sorry, there was feedback, Sharon. You said you got something too?
Yeah, saying we were having something tomorrow.
don't
It
remember if
could
it
have been
was
the
an
reminder
email.
for this, because the Calendly is set up to send you a reminder and to confirm that you're coming. And I think it's set up for it's
I
either
didn't
2
get
or
one
3
for
days.
today. I didn't get a reminder.
Well,
for
that's because you
today.
just keep using the same link.
Well, I only did that because I couldn't find anything else. I didn't get an email or anything And so I think I probably responded like 3 times for my seat.
Good night, Angela. You're welcome. Okay, so I've got May pulled up. Let's see. So, yeah, this is accountability tomorrow at 8, but it's not
Yeah.
on my calendar. Okay, tomorrow at 8. So I will send an email. I'll do that now after we get it done, and then the 24th at 8. But
Okay.
I don't know what happened with Sunday besides a reminder for those that actually signed up for, because it's it's
I didn't-
automatically set up to send reminders for the budget bestie.
I didn't
meetup.
get one.
But I'll double check.
It's weird. Okay.
Yeah, I'll double check to see. You have to sign up every month. Whenever I start doing it, you have to sign up
Yeah.
every month.
Right, which I had, and then it said, watch for updates or whatever in your email, and then I never got one this time, so
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't like me.
Cause I got like
Okay,
4
well, I'll double
reminders
check.
for it.
Maybe you did. Okay, yeah, and I saw that you reconfirmed, so I knew you were coming. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that till like today or yesterday. I think it's like, oops.
Yeah, I went back and confirmed like 2 or 3 times in the last day or 2, and I never got any kind of follow-up.
Weird. Okay, I'll
Email.
see
I got
it if
4.
you're like you got 4. Okay, I'll double check how
2
many
days ago, a day ago,
reminders.
an hour ago, and
Oh, okay, yeah, an hour and then
51
probably
minutes ago. I don't know.
15 minutes before we start. Yeah, I have a lot of reminders because people forget things. I
Yeah.
forget things too, so
Yeah, I didn't
I
get the
need
one
all the
that's-
reminders.
The one that you usually put out 5 or 10 minutes before we start, I didn't get that one, which is why I sent you the message and said, where are we? And then I remembered, oh yeah, go back and look at the old one, and I finally found you.
Yeah, there's probably not a text for this. So this is
Yeah.
not for Money Success Club. And
Right.
so I think that might be part of it because I think Christina had put something with Money Success Club for this. I really thought she put it on the calendar, so I don't know why it's not showing up on my calendar. But I will double check that. Anyway, so I will double check,
Okay.
Cindy, see if it even showed you for today. And I mean, I don't know why, because you're not the only one that signed up more than once. So I don't know, I don't know why you'd have it. Like, it's not like, oh, you can only sign up one time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't think that's the problem. All right, I'll double check it. I will add to the calendar, send an email real quick before I go home. And I guess I will see you guys tomorrow night. I thought I had the night off because there was nothing on my calendar. That's so funny. I'm glad you asked because I would not have showed up. And then Cindy B messaged me, "Where are you?" Like, what
I
are you
just be
talking
refreshing my
about?
Facebook. Why is it not coming up?
Like, what are you guys talking about? I don't have anything on my calendar. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened there, but I will get it fixed. So thank you for reminding me. You know, I need all the reminders. So, all right. If you guys want to sign up again, if you're watching and you want to sign up for a future one, go to budgetsmadeeasy.com/meetup and I will see